Hey, what's going on there, guys? Why is this not working? That's not what I want. Oh, shit. What the hell? There we are. Alright, let's make sure this fits the screen. Fit that to the screen. And there we go. So, deck profile of Yosenju. Let's get started. One dieback. He's the better one of the two currently. Bounces stuff. 2 cards. When Yosenju's attack, give him 300. Basically, at end phase, either goes to your hand or it dies and goes to the pendulum zone. So you pretty much always have it as long as your scales stay. You have 2 L's. Basically, if Yosenju monster will be destroyed, but penalty card effect, you destroy it instead. So it actually has an effect that's useful. So you play 2 of it. And R, its only effect is you can make it a scale 11. So you can pendulum dieback. Dieback. Yeah. So 1 of him. They're searchable, but drawing him isn't the end of the world. He kinda is. He's very useless. 3 Yosenju, comma 1. Basically, when it's summoned, you could immediately summon another Yosenju, except himself. If I control another Yosenju, I could bounce 1 face-up card and put it in your hand. I can only activate it once while it's face-up in the field. So it's not like the rest of them that says you can only use, or rather 3. Not once per turn. 1 of these effects per turn. So if you have 2 of these, you can bounce 2 dudes. And then during the end phase, if it's normal summon, return it to hand, like the rest of the commas. Yosenju, comma 2 is 1800, has a summon effect, and it can attack directly, but inflict half the damage. So it's basically Crystal Beast now with this cat. However, there's a billion ways to boost it and abuse it, and it plus 3 is a pretty good combination. And it also has the largest base attack at 1800. So that's moderately relevant. Next, the bounced hand is another same thing. Next, we got 3 Yosenju, comma 3. Same summon effect. And while another Yosenju inflicts damage to your opponent, you can add 1 Yosenju card from deck to hand, except itself. So, really ridiculous. Lets you grab everything, quite literally. No, not quite literally, except himself. But anything you want to grab again, just him plus comma 2 is pretty good. Grab it. Find it very often that I use it with, excuse my yawn. Yosenju Sujik, which is basically the hand trap of the deck. Honest, kind of, but it also, I'll just read it. It has the same bounce to the hand effect after it's normal. You only use 1 of its 2 effects per turn. You can only use each one of them once per turn. So you have 2, you can use 1 of each. So during other player's damage step, when Yosenju battles, you can discard this and give that monster 1000. Basically, if your board is full and you can't summon him, you can discard him and still give a 1000 boost at some point. It only has to be a monster, though. So the only downside of that. Next, you can target 1 Yosenju monster on the field. It gains 1000 attack until the end phase this turn. So, that's when it's on the field. That's when it's in hand. Yup. At least I feel like this has to be on the field. I assume it has to be on the field for that to activate. Oh, that's worded kind of odd. But yeah, basically, if you only have 2 Yosenjus, a comma and himself, you could summon them both and give that other one 1000 or himself 1000, so he comes to 2000 stick. Pretty solid. 2 Yosen training grounds. It's almost like Gateway in the sense, but I don't play 3 because it will get cloggy. Anyways, each time a Yosen is one more special monster or monsters, so if you see, or pendulum, a bunch of them, this only gets 1 counter. Put a Yosen counter on it. You remove any amount of counters once per turn. And yeah, once per turn. 1 counter, all Yosenju monsters gain 300 attack to the end of the turn, even if this leaves the field. So, basically, it can help you push your game. It's absurd. Oh, freaking phone call. Probably telemarketers. And then the important one, the gateway effect. Basically, when you remove 3 counters, you can add 1 Yosenju card from deck or graveyard to your hand. That or graveyard actually becomes relevant. I promise. You'll run out of Yosens pretty easily. Then we have 3 Tenki, because basically everything's a Beast Warrior except for the scales and dieback. And yeah, it's pretty important to search them all. 3 pot duality because you did not special summon except for the one time you pendulum some dieback. But by the time you do that, you're presumably going to win. So the card's absolutely ridiculous. Dimensional Fissure, this deck can play it. Really solid floodgate. So play it. 1 soul charge. The reason behind this is it lets you make an instant exceed, or just summons dudes to have for the next turn. If they could stay alive, that is. It's a really solid card overall. Also help you double Cowboy for game. That happens. Snatch Steel, freaking blowout card. Raigeki, blowout card. You can play Dark Holes if you want. I decided to decide them. Because at end phase, he's all returned to your hand. You basically left with an empty board. Playing 3 Floodgates would make sense. However, in the mirror match, the card isn't so good and dead, so I just decided to side them. Book of Moon, card is really solid. It's at 1 for a reason. 2 MST, I think 3 is a little bit cloggy. Because you don't really lose to that many things. You don't lose to emptiness. You don't lose to floodgates for the most part. You kind of just lose to random swell traps that mess you up. Like, for example, Fire Lake, Mirror Force, because Cliff Forts and other random decks are playing it now. Good to hit those. Like end phase flip MST. Not good to hurt you. 3 Yosenju's Secret Move. This card is ridiculous. The card's Infinity Barrier, kinda. It's a little weaker. In fact, a lot weaker. Because most often you can activate on your opponent's turn. However, I'll read it to you. When a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated while you control at least 1 Yosenju card, Yosenju. Oh, sorry. I keep yawning. Yosenju card. This will not count. For that reason. At least 1 Yosenju card. All face-on monsters you control are Yosenju monsters. Then you get that activation if you do destroy that card. This does not mean you have to have a Yosenju monster. Public Relevant card text, for that requirement, it would have to say minimum 1. It does not. So, basically this gates a spell trap or monster effect if I control, let's see, for example, any of these on my field, or one of these in the zones. It only matters when one of these are in your zones. If it's your opponent's turn, you're trying to gate something. If you're summoning, it's your turn and you have any of these, you're in the clear pretty much. But the only way to effectively activate this on your opponent's turn is if you have a Pendulum Scale in its zone. Next, 3 of the best floodgate, Vanity's Emptiness. Basically, this doesn't die very often. Your monsters return to the hand at the end phase. Not much hits the graveyard unless your opponent really fucks you. Really, really good. Plus, you play Dimensional Fissure and Macrocosmos. The card stays, very frequently. 2 Mirror Force, basically, this is in here so I don't lose while all my monsters are in my hand. Ensures that I don't lose, and the next turn, it lets me counterplay with commas, and yeah. I get to hurt them after they try to hurt me. And then lastly, Macrocosmos, again, another floodgate. Card is ridiculous against the Necroz, Burning Abyss matchup, and it's alright against Cliff Fort. It's not awful by any stretch of the imagination. What notification? Who are you? Anyways. But yeah, anyways, that's the main deck. Into the side deck, I mentioned this prior, 2 Dark Hole, 3rd MST. Side deck's kind of really jank. I'm not sure the numbers on anything yet, because I don't know what I would side out and side in. But we have 3 Book of Eclipse for the Cliff Fort match, effectively. 3 Fairy Wind for the Cliff Fort. I meant Necroz, by the way, on this. 3 Fairy Wind for the Cliff Fort matchup. Jesus Christ. And that's pretty much it. You don't lose to Floodgates, so you don't side this in against pretty much anything. Because when I played Burning Abyss and played this, I sided in against a lot, just so I wouldn't lose to like Emptiness and such. 3 Mind Crush, really good against Necroz, really good against Burning Abyss, because they have to call, and yeah. 3 Mistake, good for Burning Abyss, good for Necroz. I don't main them because you won't always play Necroz, and this deck is specifically for local as well. I'm working on building it. I have most of it done, minus mistakes. And some cards, like 2 Book of Eclipse, and most of the extra. But anyway, speaking of the extra deck, we're going to get into it. 2 Lightning Chidori. Card is observed with this deck. They're all wins, coincidentally. When this card is Exceed Summon, target one set card your opponent controls, return to the bottom of the deck, and once returning, you can attach a material, target one face-up card, and put it to the top of the deck. Basically, it sets up your opponent's draws. If you use this card correctly, you can make sure your opponent can't kill you, giving them really shitty draws, like giving them new resources, and if you have enough commas still to hurt them. 2 Gaga Cowboy. This card shuts out games a lot often. If you just summon 4 commas, like balance all their monsters, attack a lot, and then and main phase 2 double Cowboy for game. It happens. So 2, yeah. Fire King, Tiger King rather. Fire Fist, Tiger King. You can make him. He's mildly solid. It gives you a tanky. Yeah. Dweller. Pretty self-explanatory there. Count Gorgon, I like this card a lot. So, Castell. Emerald lets you shuffle back your Yosenjus in case you're not winning. You just need a couple more Yosenjus in the deck. Damodar gets rid of problem cards. Exiton lets me blow up the field and try again to Yosenju them to death. 101 gets in there. Ragnar Zero, I really hate this card, but it's in there. Heartland Draco and Crazy Box for the Cliffort matchup, and if I need to not lose based on a skill drain. That's pretty much the deck list. Hope you guys enjoyed. Comment, subscribe. If you guys want any dual videos of this, like the video, comment asking for such. And if you have any suggestions or questions, leave them in the comment section down below. I respond to literally every comment because I have nothing else better to do with my life. That's pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios, YouTube.